Okay, so I'm going to go over and give you some hints on part one of the dependency project. These are important, right? Show work, explanations, use complete sentences. You're going to submit this via file upload. So you want to read that article, so probably just copy and paste it into the browser. What the article is going to be describing is what baby boomers are going to mean for the U.S. economy in terms of the numbers that need to be supported through Social Security, and the ratio of the people that are working to people over 65, how that's changing, how that's going to impact the federal budget. So typically, those between the ages of 18 and 64 are considered to be part of the working class, and those under 18 or over 65 don't work because they're either too young or they're retired. Now, this isn't go for everybody. Obviously, there's people over 65 that work and people that are 25 that don't. But typically, it's a good way to understand ratios in terms of the dependencies. So you're going to explore the construction of three separate ratios. The old age ratio is derived by dividing the population 65 and over by the 18 to 64 population. So you're not dealing with the total population. Yeah. And so how do you get that? 65 and over, you got it right here. There's 65 and over in 2000, 2010, right? Not a big deal, right? There's the change, and there's the percentage change. You can see that it's one of the highest percentage changes. So that's the numerator, and the denominator is going to be 18 to 64. Well, you don't have 18 to 64, but you have 18 to 44 and then 45 to 64, and you add those two together, you get 18 to 64, right? And then you're going to scale the bottom number to 100, which just means total divided by total equals x over 100. Same thing here. The child dependency is going to be people under 18 divided by the 18 to 64, adding those two together. We're not dealing with the totals. And age dependency, you just add these two to see what the total dependency is of the society in terms of how many people are working. And I'll go through a few of these pretty quick, but those are ratios are really important to understand. So you don't want to read this article and just answer the questions here. Typical definition of the baby boom generation. I can tell you that's really the generation born right after World War II, so it's probably like 1948 to 1960 in that range, but you will find it out from the article. Don't quote me. How does the article define dependency ratio? Well, it might not define it quite the way we define it here in terms of the age group, right? They might define it a little bit differently. Is a higher or lower ratio better for the economy? Well, I'll leave that for you to think about, but really what you're doing with this ratio, with the old age ratio, is you're finding out how many old people there are retired that are needing to draw money from the government for every 100 people that are working. So you think about what's better. Is it an exact instrument? No, because like I said, people over 65 can be working, people 30 can be not working. Maybe he wants to help offset. How do you offset the baby boomer retirement? Well, there's probably one thing I know they've been doing is increasing the retirement age. And don't just put increase the retirement age, put why or how. The other thing they'll probably talk about is immigration, bringing in young people into the country through immigration. I don't know what else they talk about. That's two things, though. Now, here you're going to literally define the ratios, calculate them. Now, this should be pretty apparent. Am I dealing with a part to part of the population or a part to the whole population? And I'll let you explain that. And here's the way to use them in a complete sentence. Practical terms, those three. So you just need a complete sentence. And provide, why would somebody bother to compare this? Well, the one thing that's nice about demographics is that it's normally pretty easy to predict the future, reasonably so. Of course, I say that now when, we have that virus. But okay, there's just some ideas.